Picture this, a quiet evening at one of the world's most prestigious hotels. The lobby gleams with polished marble and crystal chandeliers. A lone figure walks through the revolving doors, dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans. No entourage, no fanfare, just a man looking for a place to rest his head. That man was Elon Musk. He approaches the front desk, his footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. The receptionist glances up, eyes quickly scanning his casual attire. A flicker of judgment crosses their face. "Good evening," Elon says politely. "I was hoping to get a room for the night." The receptionist's lips purse. "I'm sorry, sir. We're fully booked." Elon nods, about to turn away when the doors whoosh open again. In struts a group of social media influencers, decked out in designer labels and flashing $1,000 smiles. The same receptionist's demeanor changes instantly. "Welcome. We've been expecting you. Your suites are ready. And there's complimentary champagne waiting." Elon watches silently as the influencers are ushered to the elevator, laughing and snapping selfies. He doesn't say a word, doesn't demand to speak to a manager, doesn't reveal his identity. Instead, he simply walks out, pulls out his phone, and types a single tweet. "Never judge a mind by its shoes. You might be surprised where they've walked." Little did that hotel know, they had just turned away one of the most influential men in the world. And with those 12 words, Elon Musk was about to teach them a lesson they'd never forget. The tweet spread like wildfire. Within minutes, it had thousands of retweets. Within hours, millions of people began speculating wildly. What hotel was it? What exactly happened? Elon remained silent, letting the mystery fuel the conversation. News outlets picked up the story, running headlines like "Billionaire snubbed" and "Musk's cryptic message sparks debate." Social media exploded with discussions about prejudice, appearance, and the danger of snap judgments. Some shared their own stories of being underestimated. Others praised Elon for his restraint in not naming and shaming the hotel. As the viral storm raged, the luxury hotel industry went into panic mode. Every high-end establishment worried they might be the one who had made this colossal mistake. Suddenly, dress codes were being reevaluated. Staff were given emergency training on treating all guests with equal respect. But Elon wasn't done yet. 3 days after his initial tweet, he posted again. "True luxury isn't about appearance. It's about how you make people feel." The internet went wild once more. People began sharing stories of exceptional service they'd received, regardless of how they looked. The conversation shifted from outrage to inspiration. And then, a week after the incident, Elon made his move. He walked back into that same hotel, same hoodie, same jeans. This time, the receptionist's eyes widened in recognition. "Mr. Musk, we're so sorry about last week. Please, let me personally show you to our finest suite." Elon held up a hand, smiling gently. "That won't be necessary. I'd just like a standard room, please." The flustered staff bent over backwards to accommodate him, but Elon remained gracious, treating everyone with kindness, from the bellhop to the cleaning staff. As he checked out the next morning, he left a handwritten note for the manager. "Thank you for the hospitality. Remember, every guest carries a universe of potential within them. Treat them all like stars." The note, of course, found its way online. It became a rallying cry for a new standard of service across the hospitality industry. Hotels around the world began adopting the phrase "treat them all like stars" in their training programs. Elon never publicly identified the hotel. He didn't need to. His actions spoke louder than any call-out ever could. In the end, a moment of prejudice was transformed into a powerful lesson about humility, respect, and the quiet strength of leading by example. Elon Musk showed that true influence doesn't come from threats or public shaming, but from grace under pressure and the ability to turn negatives into teachable moments. The luxury hotel learned its lesson, but more importantly, millions of people around the world were inspired to look beyond appearances and treat everyone with dignity, all because one man in a hoodie decided to let his actions and a couple of well-timed tweets speak louder than words. So the next time you're tempted to judge someone based on how they look, remember, that scruffy person in line ahead of you might just be the next Elon Musk. And even if they're not, they deserve to be treated like they could be. Because in the end, true luxury isn't about designer labels or fancy lobbies. It's about making every single person feel valued, regardless of what they're wearing or how much money they have in the bank. Elon Musk didn't just change one hotel's policies that day. He sparked a global conversation about respect, perception, and the power of quiet dignity. And he did it all without raising his voice or throwing his weight around. That's the kind of influence money can't buy. That's the mark of a true leader. So, What's the lesson here? It's simple, really. Treat everyone you meet like they could change the world, because you never know. They just might. And who knows, the next time you walk into a hotel lobby, whether you're wearing a designer suit or your comfiest hoodie, you might just find yourself being treated like a star, all thanks to one billionaire who decided to teach a lesson in humility by being humble himself. Now, here's a question for you to ponder. When was the last time you made a snap judgment about someone based on their appearance? And how might things have been different if you'd given them the benefit of the doubt? Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to make someone's day a little brighter, to make them feel seen, heard, and valued. You don't need to be a billionaire to do that. You just need to be human. So the next time you're tempted to judge a book by its cover, or a mind by its shoes, take a moment, pause, and ask yourself, what universe of potential might be hiding behind that first impression? Because in the end, the greatest luxury we can offer each other isn't the fancy hotel room or VIP treatment. It's respect, understanding, and the simple acknowledgement that every single person we meet has a story worth hearing. That's the real lesson Elon Musk taught that day. And it's one we'd all do well to remember. So, what will you do differently tomorrow? How will you treat the next stranger you meet? The power to change the world, one interaction at a time, is in your hands. Use it wisely. You never know who you might be inspiring. The internet exploded with a single tweet from Elon Musk. Funny how a hotel with no rooms suddenly finds space for influencers with ring lights. Note to self, wear a suit next time. I want to be respected. Within minutes, the post had gone viral, racking up millions of likes and shares across platforms. But this wasn't just another celebrity complaint. This was Elon Musk, the man who revolutionized electric cars and space travel, being turned away from a luxury hotel because he didn't look the part. The irony was palpable, and the public's reaction was swift and fierce. As news outlets picked up the story, comment sections overflowed with similar tales of discrimination based on appearance. People from all walks of life shared their experiences of being judged by their clothes rather than their character. The incident had struck a chord, revealing a deep-seated issue in society that many had faced, but few had the platform to address. Meanwhile, internet sleuths worked tirelessly to identify the hotel in question. It didn't take long before the name was out, and the backlash began in earnest. The hotel's social media accounts were flooded with angry messages, and their review ratings plummeted overnight. What was once a prestigious establishment now found itself at the center of a PR nightmare. But through it all, Elon remained silent. He didn't name the hotel, didn't call for boycotts, didn't engage in public outrage. His single tweet had set off a chain reaction, and now he watched as the consequences unfolded naturally. It was a masterclass in the power of restraint and the impact of well-timed words. As the story gained traction, it evolved into a broader debate on class, appearances, and the superficiality of modern society. Commentators and thought leaders weighed in, dissecting the incident from every angle. Some praised Musk for exposing the hypocrisy of the hospitality industry, while others used it as a launching point to discuss deeper societal issues. Media outlets, sensing the gravity of the moment, began covering the story not just as celebrity news, but as a pivotal moment in the ongoing conversation about social justice and equality. The incident had transcended its initial context, becoming a symbol of the fight against prejudice and discrimination. As the world watched and waited for Musk's next move, he did something unexpected. He scheduled a meeting with his assistant, leaving everyone to wonder, what was he planning? Do you think public shaming changes behavior, or just reputation? The answer to that question would soon become clear as Elon's next moves unfolded. While the internet continued to buzz with speculation and outrage, Musk was quietly putting a plan into motion that would surprise everyone. 2 days after the initial incident, Elon returned to the hotel. This time, he wasn't alone. Accompanying him was a diverse group of individuals, successful entrepreneurs, artists, and innovators, who, like him, often chose comfort over formality in their attire. As they approached the front desk, the staff's eyes widened in recognition and panic. But Elon wasn't there for revenge. Instead, he calmly requested a meeting with the hotel management. What transpired in that meeting would later be described by attendees as a masterclass in leadership and empathy. Musk didn't berate or threaten. He listened. He asked questions about the hotel's policies, their training procedures, and their vision for customer service. He shared stories of times when he, despite his wealth and status, had been misjudged based on appearances, and then he offered to help. In a move that stunned the hotel executives, Elon proposed a partnership. He offered to fund a comprehensive training program for the hotel staff, focusing on unconscious bias, customer service excellence, and the importance of treating every guest with equal respect and dignity. The news of this unexpected turn of events quickly spread, capturing headlines once again. But this time, the narrative had shifted. It wasn't a story of revenge or public shaming. It was a tale of transformation and second chances. As the training program was implemented, other luxury hotels and businesses took notice. What started as a single incident of discrimination had sparked a movement within the hospitality industry. Hotels across the world began reevaluating their policies and training procedures, recognizing the need for change in an increasingly diverse and casual world. Elon's approach had accomplished what no amount of angry tweets or negative reviews could have achieved. By choosing education over retaliation, he had initiated lasting change. The hotel that once turned him away became a model for inclusive hospitality, their story serving as a powerful reminder of the importance of looking beyond appearances. In the months that followed, Elon would occasionally share updates on social media about the progress of the program. Each post served as a gentle reminder of the incident, but also as a beacon of hope for what could be achieved when prejudice is met with patience and understanding. The incident had transformed from a moment of personal slight into a catalyst for industry-wide reflection and improvement. It demonstrated the power of influence wielded with grace and the impact of addressing systemic issues at their root. As the story faded from the headlines, its lessons lingered. People began to question their own biases, businesses re-examined their practices, and a new standard of inclusivity began to take hold. All because one man chose to respond to disrespect with dignity and to use his influence for positive change rather than retribution. In the end, Elon Musk had done more than just teach a luxury hotel a lesson. He had provided a blueprint for turning moments of discrimination into opportunities for growth and understanding. His actions spoke louder than any tweet ever could, proving that true influence isn't about the ability to shame or punish, but the power to inspire and elevate. The luxury hotel that once refused Elon Musk a room had indeed learned a lesson they would never forget, but so had the rest of the world. In an age of instant outrage and cancel culture, Musk had shown that sometimes the most powerful response to disrespect is not a shout, but a whisper, a quiet, determined effort to create meaningful change. As the dust settled and the world moved on to the next viral moment, the impact of Elon's response continued to ripple outward. It served as a reminder that even in our most frustrating moments, we have the power to choose how we react, and that choice can make all the difference. How will you use your influence, big or small, to create positive change in your community? Picture this, a luxury hotel, gleaming with opulence, its lobby a testament to exclusivity. Now imagine Elon Musk, one of the world's most recognizable billionaires, casually strolling through those gilded doors. You'd think he'd be welcomed with open arms, right? Wrong. On a crisp autumn evening, Musk, dressed in his signature t-shirt and jeans, approached the front desk. The receptionist, eyeing his casual attire, delivered a crushing blow. "I'm sorry, sir, but we're fully booked." A blatant lie, a judgment based on appearance alone. Most would have erupted in anger, flashed their platinum card, or name-dropped their way to a suite. But Elon, he simply nodded, turned on his heel, and walked out. No fuss, no drama, just silence. That silence, however, was about to become deafening. As Musk left the hotel, he pulled out his phone. With a few taps, he sent a single tweet into the digital ether. Interesting how a t-shirt can change your worth. In some people's eyes, #humility-check. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Musk's followers, a veritable army of millions, began speculating, investigating, demanding answers. Which hotel dared to snub the tech titan? The Twitterverse became a detective agency, and the hunt was on. But here's where our story takes an unexpected turn. While the internet raged, Elon was crafting a response that would redefine the art of proving a point. Behind the scenes, he contacted his team with an audacious plan. Booked the entire hotel, every room, every conference space for a private event. The theme, innovation, diversity, and inclusion. Oh, the irony. When the hotel's corporate office received the request, they were ecstatic. A full buyout for a high-profile event on such noble topics. They couldn't say yes fast enough. Little did they know who was behind it all. A week passed. The internet's fury had barely cooled when Elon Musk walked back through those same doors that had been closed to him. This time, he wasn't a casual guest seeking a room. He was the keynote speaker, the event host, The man who had rented out their entire establishment, the same staff who had dismissed him, now scrambled to offer champagne, to cater to his every whim. The irony was palpable, thick enough to cut with a knife. As Musk took the stage for his keynote speech, the room fell silent. Executives, innovators, and yes, even the hotel staff leaned in to listen. He spoke of perception, of judgment, of the invisible barriers we create based on outward appearances. Then, mid-speech, he paused, his gaze swept across the room, landing briefly on the now nervous hotel staff. With a slight smile, he delivered the line that would echo through boardrooms and social media for weeks to come. We all want to be seen, but greatness rarely wears a name tag. The silence that followed was deafening. In that moment, everyone understood. This wasn't just a conference, it was a lesson, a masterclass in humility and respect. As the event unfolded, you could see the change happening in real time. Staff members who had once judged based on appearance now listened intently to discussions on innovation and inclusivity. The very walls of the hotel seemed to absorb the message, transforming from a symbol of exclusivity to a beacon of open-mindedness. The media caught wind of the story. Business and tech outlets clamored for interviews, desperate to understand how Elon had turned an act of prejudice into a powerful statement on human value. But Musk wasn't interested in gloating or naming names. When pressed for comments, he simply said, "Sometimes, the best way to change minds is to open them gently, not force them." As the conference drew to a close, the question on everyone's mind was, what lasting change would this leave behind? The answer came in waves. First, the hotel chain announced a company-wide training program on unconscious bias and customer service. Then, other luxury brands began reviewing their own policies, fearful of making the same mistake. But the real change was more subtle, more profound. It was in the way the hotel staff now greeted every guest, regardless of appearance. It was in the conversations happening in boardrooms about the true meaning of luxury and hospitality. Elon Musk had done more than teach a lesson. He had sparked a movement, a reevaluation of what really matters and how we treat each other. As the story spread, it became a touchstone for discussions on respect, judgment, and the power of quiet dignity. Musk had shown that true influence doesn't always come from loud proclamations or threats. Sometimes, it comes from a simple act of grace, magnified by the power of one's position. The luxury hotel that once refused Elon Musk a room had indeed learned a lesson they'd never forget. But so had the rest of us. In a world quick to judge and slow to reflect, Musk had provided a masterclass in turning the other cheek, not out of weakness, but out of strength. He had demonstrated that the most powerful response to disrespect isn't outrage, but enlightenment. As the dust settled and the story became legend, one question lingered, challenging each of us to reflect on our own actions and prejudices. If you had the power to prove a point, would you do it with revenge or with vision? Elon Musk had made his choice. He chose vision. He chose to illuminate rather than castigate. And in doing so, he didn't just change a hotel's policy, he changed minds. The next time you walk into a hotel, or any establishment for that matter, remember this story. Remember that greatness can come in any package, wear any clothes, and arrive at any time. And perhaps, just perhaps, we'll all think twice before judging a book by its cover or a billionaire by his T-shirt.